was my understanding that this was for the Pima County Sheriff's Department participation with the counter-narcotics.
I think Laura was next, and then Kevin.
My question just got answered. Thank you.
I had two things. With this being an IGA, it's normally pretty common for IGAs to be renewed either every year or every 5 years. I believe this is a 5-year IGA renewal. That just explains and outlines that the agencies are working together. And so I don't really have any specific questions about the IGA itself. Ms. Garcia made a question about distribution of narcotics into the community. And from my days at DPS and working with the other local agencies, I don't know of any agency that has a policy that permits narcotics, which could cause harm, to go into the community. I say that from my experience at working with DPS, and during the days of Mantis, I was in patrol as well. So at that point in time, I hadn't worked much with Mantis at all. But that's my understanding to answer that question that you brought up earlier.
Okay, thank you. There's a couple of questions I have. You know, like Tiara said, we don't have a lot of information. We can't have all of it, I understand. But in my experience, the CNA, and it was Mantis, you just look it up. It's all over the newspapers. That drugs was allowed out by Mantis, and then they regrouped and changed their name. That's what happened. And that's what happens a lot. Look at what happened with Wachovia Bank in 2008. They busted them laundering $378.5 billion of drug cartel money. And they got a little diversion agreement. Now, my clients didn't get diversion agreements. In the Southern District of Florida, they paid a fine of $111 million, and right afterwards they were bought out by Wells Fargo, who was making money on the other side, or with jail beds for our kids that were winding up. So they were making money on both sides, and then they changed their name. That's what happened here. Mantis changed, and maybe they did change accountability, but in my experience at the legal defenders, there was a quick use of those neighbor bombs, like stun bombs for no good reason. That's why I voted wrong on the last one. We did 2 votes in 2 grants together. One was for detecting poisonous chemicals, and one was about, to muffle their ears or something. I meant to vote no on that one, but it didn't matter, it passed. But I have found that the CNA has been quick to use a lot of equipment that cost us money, and bombs and that sort of thing, for small amounts of drugs. We're talking 2 grams of cocaine. 2 grams of cocaine? You guys do this kind of stuff for 2 grams of cocaine? I mean, there's so many cases, and I know that there's cases on the other side, but I'm just telling you, in my 22 and a half years of running this office, that's what I found. The other thing is that the educational piece is really what we need in our community, and I don't know that CNA has a real commitment to that, or money, or the depth to be able to do that. But I think that's what needs to be comprehensively. But my last question is, where are you guys on the looking at the financial incentive? Where is the investigation on the banks and other financial institutions that must see some of this money?
Well, if you're asking if we also look at asset forfeiture for individuals that are engaged in narcotic activity, we certainly do.
How about investigation?
I'm not going to. Now, they do investigate, but I can't discuss any ongoing cases here.
As far as my experience, because I do have some knowledge of what they do as far as the financial side of it, they work really hard on taking the financial incentive away from the major cartels by trying to interdict their money. As far as investigations into banks, that is a federal issue. It's federally insured, and the FBI is the one that does banks, and the Pima County Sheriff's Department, Tucson Police Department, CNA, Mantis, whatever you want to call it, they don't have the authority.